You know, it's funny that guns are the only thing that people can talk about and have such a strong opinion of and know nothing about the topic, and people don't call them out on it. And that's what we're going to talk about today, man. Constitutional carry, separating facts from fiction, and some of the myths surrounding this, man. And hopefully I can give you a better idea of how I understand this. Now, granted, I am not giving you legal advice at all. I'm just telling you how I understand this. And I'm telling you the pros and the facts as I see them about constitutional carry. Now, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. My name is Howard. Thank you so much for joining me today as we dive into this topic. And again, this is one of those hot button issues. And I got this really cool visual map that we can look at throughout the video. And I have some other things that I want to show you here as well. Now, if this is your first time stopping by, I do gun reviews, concealed carry, rifle reviews, everything gun related all in one channel. So if you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel, man. Drop me a like, share the video, all that good stuff. Oh, and turn on your notifications, please. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, every state that you see right here in green actually has constitutional carry. If you're not familiar with what that is, essentially, if you're of a certain age in your given state, you can carry your firearm. Meaning that if you are able to purchase a firearm legally, you can carry that firearm without getting permission from the government. Now, all of these states in green, like I said, are permitless carry. North Dakota is for their citizens only. Louisiana, I think they have permitless carry, but that's only for military. And then Florida, as of July 1st, 2023, that's when their constitutional carry will actually go through. South Carolina needs to get off their ass. This is the state I live in. And since I've been into guns and concealed carry, South Carolina has talked about this over and over and over, and they never do anything with it. And I know it passed the House big, and I think it passed the Senate. That was earlier this month, I think. They just need to do it because it seems like it always gets stonewalled somewhere along the line. North Carolina probably won't do it. They have a Democratic governor. Well, anyways, so most of the states you would think have constitutional carry actually have that in place, right? And one of the biggest lies perpetrated about constitutional carry is that criminals are going to have an easier access to guns and carrying guns. Criminals will have an easier access to guns and therefore easier access to carrying guns. If you just think about it, it's stupid because criminals they're already breaking the law. They don't care what laws you have in play. You could have 200 laws in your given state about guns. They could care less about any of them. So the only people that this affects is the people that are already following the law. So by giving people the opportunity to carry guns without permission, you are leveling the playing field essentially. Because for some reason, it's almost like giving a pass to criminals because we already know they're going to break the law. So let's just make it harder for the guy that's not going to do that, right? What constitutional carry does is says, no, screw that. You are able to own and purchase a gun. You are responsible enough to then carry that gun, and you don't need a piece of paper. You don't need to give us money to actually do that. That affirms the Second Amendment more than having to go through a class, having to do, shoot 50 rounds, which basically does nothing anyways. That affirms the Second Amendment. Constitutional carry affirms the Second Amendment more than the states that require you to have a permit to carry a firearm. The Founding Fathers did not have the intention of us having to ask permission, right? If it was like that, they would have said this. They would have said the right of the people to keep and bear arms with permission shall not be infringed. They didn't say that, right? They did not say that at all. Okay, so anyways, criminals are going to break the law regardless. This levels the playing field for everybody. Next slide, we'll talk about with constitutional carry, you can buy a gun without a background check. It's not true. Every time you buy a gun from an FFL, meaning a gun dealer, or at a gun show, you have to go through a background check. No matter what you have. You still have to fill out that 4473. I would venture to say, and I don't know the stats, but I'd venture to say 95 to 99% of gun shows, you have to do a background check. The other 1% or 2% or whatever are the individual people that come into the gun shop with something they want to sell, or to the gun show with something they want to sell. Another individual sees, oh, hey, they couldn't make a deal. Let me go see if I can buy it from this guy. And if they live in a state where you don't have to, go through a background check for every gun purchase, that's where they talk about the gun show loophole, which is such a small minority. Because all of these FFLs, i.e. gun shops and everywhere that sells guns, if they want to keep their licenses and essentially their livelihoods, they will go through the proper channels to sell you a gun, right? Meaning you have to go through a background check anyways. With me, I've had my permit since 2014, right? And so every time I go into a gun shop, I give them my permit and my ID. I fill out the 4473. You have to. You're not just going to be able to say, oh, hey, by the way, I'm a constitutional carrier, and just walk out with a gun. It doesn't work like that. Here's one of the biggest things I see even Republicans saying about constitutional carry. And I'm just going to get on a soapbox really quick and just say, people will blindly trust politicians with an R or D next to their name. Granted, I don't trust many D's, but you should go off of what that politician has done, not what they say. And a lot of them are openly against constitutional carry because what they say is that you're going to have a bunch of untrained people walking around with guns and it's going to be the Wild West. And so that assumes that you, the constitutional carrier or potential constitutional carrier, is an idiot. They assume you're not going to go to the range with friends. You're not going to learn how to properly use that gun. They're assuming that. My assumption is that most Americans don't need to be told what to do. Most of us get up, we go to work, we take care of our families, we provide for them, we do the right thing, not because the government told us how to do it, but because we were raised the right way, first of all, and second of all, we know right from wrong. And so you know that if you are going to take on carrying a firearm, there's more to it. You're going to learn, oh man, I got to get a holster. Maybe you don't get the right holster. Maybe you figure that out. You're like, oh man, this holster sucks. I need to get a good one. Maybe you figure out, oh, this belt kind of sucks. I need to get a better one. Maybe you figure out another way to carry that you really like. But you're also going to figure, oh man, I need to get this thing to range and make sure I know how to use it. Let me call somebody that knows. Or let me take this class where I'm going to train with this person that knows. I would venture to say that most people will actually do that. I don't think people are dumb. I think people will seek that training. And I'm not saying that you should just buy a gun and blindly carry it. I think that's a bad idea. I think you should seek training. I think at least seek somebody that knows how to shoot and spend some time with them so you can learn how to shoot, learn the ins and outs of your gun. But how many people go through a concealed carry class, think because they shot 50 rounds and spent 8 hours going through some books and laws that now I'm good to go. You know what I mean? So there really is no difference. One is you don't have to ask permission. The other one is, hey, yeah, dummy. Hey, shoot these 50 rounds here. And here's some testing that you need to go through. Oh, yep, now you're good to carry a gun. The concealed carry class is really a joke. At least it is in my state. It really is a joke. So, my opinion, most people, I would say, will get the training that they need. There's also the lie that carrying guns will just turn the entire United States into the Wild Wild West. Well, there's estimates of like 500,000 to up to 2 million self-defense gun uses in the United States every year. Okay? Most of them are unreported or underreported or whatever. right? So let's just meet it in the middle. Let's say you have 1,000,000 cases per year. Tell those 1,000,000 people that pulled out their gun in self-defense and never even fired a round, but they were able to deter a would-be attacker, a would-be mass shooter. I mean, there's no way to prove any of this stuff because the sight of a gun a lot of times will deter crime. Why do you think gun shops don't get robbed when they're open? Criminals know, like, hey, I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go into this place where all these people are armed. They may rob it once the place closes, but not while it's open. And so, good guys with guns, I know this is so cliche, but I'm going to say it anyways. They are a deterrent to crime. And when I say good guys with guns, that's good guys and gals with guns are deterrents to crime. Why do you think some of the worst tragedies happen in schools? Why do you think those schools get shot up? For some reason, we can spend all this money on all this dumb stuff, but we can't spend money to put armed security, bulletproof glass, automatic locking doors, or metal detectors in our schools. You know what I mean? Like, mass shooters will go to those places because they see it as an easy target. Constitutional carry on the surface says you don't have to be an easy target. Wherever you can go legally and wherever you can carry your gun legally, you can have your firearm, so that way you make sure you get home to your family safely. You don't need this piece of paper from a government saying that you have to do that. And so it is a wonderful thing, man. And like I said, South Carolina really needs to hurry up and get this done, man, and become one of the states on this map here. By the way, this is from the USDCA. I love it, man. Hopefully it all gets filled in with green. We know that won't happen. There's going to be states that just won't do that because they're not smart as far as the people that run those states, not the people in those states, for the most part. But regardless, man, constitutional carry is a fantastic thing, dude. And I am a huge supporter of that. You don't need permission from your government to know the Second Amendment applies to all law-abiding citizens, right? And you don't need the government giving you permission to a right you already have, right? People will say, oh, well, you don't want people driving with all these cars, and not having licenses, do you? Well, no. But you're talking about a right and a privilege. So if you don't see the Constitution as a living, breathing document, if you don't see it as the law of the land, you will use the car argument. If you do recognize the Constitution as a living, breathing document that is the law of the land, you would not make that argument at all. That's what I have to say to that. Some of the facts, fiction, myths around constitutional carry. I'd love to hear some of yours, some of the as dumb as they could be, or some of the good ones, man. Some of the facts about constitutional carry. Maybe something that I missed here. Love to hear those down below. Big thanks to you guys for joining me, man. If you want to support what I do further, you can do that through Patreon, or you can join this channel. Love to have you, man. Join one of the best communities as far as in the gun community right here on YouTube, man. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.